Now from folk music to folk tales with some gypsy folk music thrown in. The tale comes courtesy of Hans Christian Andersen. His story, The Flax, is the inspiration for a new collaboration between the two women that we're about to meet.
Their BRIClab work in progress is called The Sweetest Life, and this Friday and Saturday you can come to BRIC House and see it live. Here now, our composer, musician, and performer Saskia Lane. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And playwright, lyricist, and librettist Stephanie Fleischmann.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, guys. So first of all, tell us about the Flax.
You want the story of the Flax?
Yeah.
Should I?
You don't have to be Hans Christian Andersen. Just step in and give us a synopsis.
So it's only 2 pages,
Okay.
Oh.
but a lot happens. A flax is basically born, blossoms, and then gets processed and transformed into many different things, and along the way learns about sort of the suffering that life brings and the hard knocks of life, and he always constantly bounces back until finally he becomes paper and gets burned and goes up the chimney into the atmosphere.
It's a feel-good gypsy folk musical collaboration mashup. What have I gotten wrong?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's feel good but feel bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's
he ends up burning.
yeah, but there's optimism in
Into
that.
the universe.
But it's just sort of,
Yes.
it really does mirror, you know, kind of our own travels and process in life in terms of, you know, bouncing back, as Stephanie said, and, you know, feeling this sort of pain of existence, but then always being hopeful. So
And
it's
always kind of transforming into something new, whether
Yeah.
it's a linen tablecloth
Right.
or paper or 12 pairs of linen underthings.
From a tiny little fiber to all
Yeah.
those possibilities.
Yeah.
So were you both separately drawn to this story on your own, or did one of you bring it to the other's attention? How did the collaboration come about?
Good question.
That's a good question. We assigned, we both had copies of the book, of all of his stories, the collection of his stories, and tried between the two of us to read every single story. And
Read a lot, but
You
not
picked
yeah,
the
not
shortest
every
one?
single one.
You picked
Well,
the
it's funny
two-page
because
one,
we did, this began as sort of a, just let's get our feet wet
Yeah.
as collaborators. We'll just write 4 or 5 songs, and now we're at 15.
Wow. It's a whole
So
cycle.
Yeah.
it just kept growing and growing.
And we met at a place called Lake Lucille, which is not that far outside of the city in Rockland County. A group of people put on a Chekhov play every year. At their house, and so in the summertime, 60 people gather and make a site-specific Chekhov play that has a lot of music in it. And there's a band, a kind of house band that spends the whole week in the garage making songs. And so we started working together there. That's how the collaboration really started.
So they had a house band up at the house doing site-specific Chekhov. What elements are you guys pulling for your BRIClab?
Well, I would say that the feeling of that garage upstate is something we're trying to, I'm trying to maintain here, which is a really organic process, musical process, where there's an open feeling in the room of ideas and flow. And, you know, obviously we came in with some concrete material, script and songs, but in terms of orchestrating and arranging, definitely pulling from everyone in the room. And
4 of those 5 people have been in that garage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you get to continue collaborating with
Yeah.
them, all those folks from up there, in this exact project?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How do you guys break out who writes lyrics, who does music? Because it seems like you can both do everything. So how does that work?
Well, definitely Stephanie is the word woman. Sometimes I will annoy her by telling her that I refuse to sing a certain word. Sometimes I win that fight.
What word do you refuse to sing?
I lose that fight. One of the fights I've lost is, but now I'm totally on board.
Right. That's usually how it
Transmogrified.
happens.
Transmogrified.
That's awesome.
Good.
I love it.
It's
okay.
good.
Well, Saskia, speaking of being on board, we have a clip of you I believe, doing a John Lennon bus tour.
On board a bus.
On board a bus. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually was filmed in Austria. It started here, the John Lennon bus. It's a traveling music studio, and they do a lot of education outreach work all over the country. And the year I do a show in Salzburg at the Salzburg Festival, and they happened to be coming through, and caught wind of the band that I was in that performance.
Scooped you up.
Scooped me up.
All right, let's
take a look.
Hole in the ground, with sand pouring down. I'll wear big shoes to get to you. There's a crack in the wall. Will it slip and fall? Let's hope it holds till spring unfolds. When summer comes, and with it the sun, the whole will be gone until a new one.
Well, that would certainly make for a better commute than the B-52. Let me tell you. If you're on that
It's
bus
sweet,
or-
sweet ride.
Sounds
took that bus this
beautiful.
morning.
I was expecting like a magic tour or magic school bus kind of setup. This is a real legit studio on wheels. And look at the swans.
There's this one.
There's the swan.
I was waiting for this one. This is, so I would just say that is a very kind of well-rounded, gleaming thing, and this is more of a homespun, grittier. We're trying to get into a grittier place than what you just saw, but
Okay. Stephanie's like, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a bit grittier. That's a bit grittier.
So in our last 60 seconds, we're just going to ask you guys to remind folks when they can come out. And I just wondered from you, how much did you steal from Hans Christian Andersen? Was he very inspiring for making the lyrics?
Not the lyrics, but the story, the arc of the story we really follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a couple of lyrical moments.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't need a cheat sheet. Just come and enjoy it, because I don't know anything about the Flax, and I don't need to bone up before coming out to BRIClab.
that's the hope.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm coming this
Where?
Friday
When?
and
Friday and Saturday,
right here.
7:30.
Okay.
right here.
At the Brick House.
Be there or be square.
Done and done. All right, Friday and Saturday, you heard it, come down to Brick House for the Flax.
The Sweetest
The
Life.
Sweetest Life.
The Sweetest Life.
It used to be called the Flax.
Adaptation of the Flax.
See, I knew about it. It used to be called the
Oh.
Flax.